Hello and welcome everyone. It's Gail Moffat and you can find me on gailmoffat.com, on Facebook, and I've got two accounts actually, Facebook Spiritualist Medium and Teacher, and also that's Gail Moffat, Spiritualist Medium and Teacher, and Gail Moffat. So do find me if you want to connect with me. Now, we're going to have a show where we're going to connect live on A1R Psychic Radio, and also you can find me on Moonstruck TV as well. Firstly, we're going to do a little bit of a talk about something quite spiritual tonight. But before we do that, I just want to remind you that I'm looking to take two calls this evening. And so in the next sort of 5 minutes, I'll be taking calls. But so I was thinking about something to talk about this evening that's going to be quite spiritual. And I actually think the most spiritual thing to talk about is God. Now, I've come across many people with many opinions of who and what God is. And if you think about it, in ancient times, we probably worshipped the stars, the sun and the moon and the earth and all sorts of things like that. And it's in our modern day religions that we believe in a God. Now, in the spiritualist movement, we see it in a slightly different way. We certainly don't see it as somebody who's sat on a chair like a Father Christmas with a long beard. That's not how we view God. How we view God is it's like a God force that goes and flows through all of us. That the essence of and the beauty of God is part of all of us, which means that we're all part of the great oneness. And if you think about it, you can say, but Gail, I'm not part of you, surely, because I'm very different from you. But in a way you are, because we're like droplets of water. And these droplets of water, eventually, when we evolve and take that journey through this lifetime and perhaps through many lifetimes and enter back into the spirit world and then what happens is we join together, and that's when we become part of the oneness. So in other words, my belief as a spiritualist is that God is part of everybody, is within everybody, and is omnipresent, omnipotent, and I think there's another omni that I can probably think of. But yes, he's all around us, with us, and around us. But the structure of the spirit world is actually greater than just God. I can't imagine that God could do everything all on his own. Many people have evolved spiritually. They've spent time on the earth plane, learning their lessons, and probably spent many, many years in the spirit world as well. And they've evolved to a great level, a great position within the spirit world. And these are often known as guides that come around us. And each and every one person that is living has a guide that guides us through our lives, that takes us upon the journey that we are on. It's so, in a way, it's so incredible. And then, of course, when you think about this infrastructure, there's an infrastructure that continues in the spirit world where people are striving to become more evolved and are in different areas within the spirit world. It's considered to have 7 planes in the spirit world, and 7. So in other words, once we reach that seventh heaven, if you like, that's when we become part of the oneness. Now, I know that's very brief, but I do want to spend some time with the callers. But it's something to think about, and I wonder what your beliefs are regarding the God Force. Now, I know that Karma in Middletown, Connecticut, is online waiting for a call. Are you there, Karma?
Yes, I am. Hi there.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Oh, good. Now, is there somebody that you would like me to connect to in the spirit world?
Yes, my grandmother.
Grandmother. Now, I've got a grandmother that I feel is connected to your father's side of the family. Is that the grandmother that you were looking? Is that the grandmother that you were looking to connect with?
I was thinking about my mother's side, but It's funny when you said my father's side. I thought of that too. So.
Oh, right, okay. Well, she's come forward, and she's actually just saying to me, that your grandmother on the mother's side is here with her. That I've got the two grandmothers together.
Two grandmothers?
Now. Now, one thing that I want to say about your grandmothers is they are completely different from each other. Would you understand that?
They are very different. Yes, I understand.
Very, very different. It's like chalk and cheese. You couldn't imagine that they
very different. Yes, yes.
And sort of one is laughing and having a bit of a good time, and the other one is deadly serious.
Yes, that's correct.
And it's interesting, isn't it, how they're so different, and it's like and the serious one is sort of a little bit critical of the more lively one.
Yeah, she's very German, and the other one is more Polish. So they're very, very different in that way. So the one that's serious is my father's mother. Yes.
Yes, mm-hmm. Yes, and that's the one that was coming for, and she didn't like this. Almost, she doesn't like that frivolity, that sort of way of how the other grandmother is. There's things to do and serious things to consider, and she's quite sort of strict in her outlook and her approach to life.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Whereas your other grandmother, she's a little bit irritated by the serious one, and it's almost like she just needs to let her hair down, or just needs to be a bit more playful, and because she considers that she had a lot more fun in her life, and mm-hmm. and I feel, and she also is saying to me that she considers herself more likable.
Yes, I agree with that. She was more outgoing and different personality. Yes.
And I think people resonated with her more easily because of her fun-loving ways.
Yes.
But I know that in a way, it's almost as though the two grandmothers are vying for position to talk to you. It's almost like this is my granddaughter, and they're quite funny in the way that they're behaving. They're amusing me, actually. Did they ever do that when they were alive?
Yeah, they were, but they weren't close. So that definitely makes sense.
That makes sense. They would have done that when they were here, yeah, because they're doing it still. Mm-hmm. They're still doing it. They're still sort of vying for competition of wanting to talk. But I know that with your with the serious grandmother, she wants to talk on a serious note, and she's although she's saying to me, although she was quite serious, she was also somebody she did care. She says, I did care, and it was through me caring. I wanted everything to be, just so, and give guidance to people, and she always would sort of, tell your father sort of, this really should be done this way, or really should be done that way. And she's saying it was because she cared. But I feel that sometimes she perhaps would have stepped over the mark, and perhaps would have upset your mum sometimes. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yes, that definitely affected my mother.
Yeah, because you're I know with your mum, if she knew that her mother-in-law, so that would have been her mother-in-law, if she knew that she was coming over, she would be going, oh.
That's true. My mother would not be very happy,
No.
I know what you're saying.
Just like, oh. But then it was a whole different ball game when your mother's mother was coming over. She was, and all the children were excited, and your dad just loved her. He thought she was wonderful. He got on really, really well with your mum's mum. Everybody loved her, and so I know. Completely different. Now, one is, I think they're sort of almost both talking to me at the same time. I believe it's your. Let me see. It's the serious one. Your dad's mum. She's talking about how she was a good cook, and this was one of her strengths. Would you remember that about her?
I don't remember that, but I know the other one cooked all the time. She was the one that came to visit, very often. My mother's mother, she came, and she stayed for, a good time, every now and then. But the other one, I don't know. I know she's very creative, and, she was sewing and a hairstylist. And she's very artistic. Leo. She's a Leo, like me.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of them is a very good cook, and I didn't quite hear you when you were talking then, but I know that one of them is a very good cook, and I know that it was almost like it was talked about how she was, we know that we're going to get some good food because, that particular grandmother is cooking. And now the serious, your dad's mum, she's just writing a list, and she's giving me a list of things to do. And not literally for me to do, but I think it's more for you to do, because she likes.
I need that.
She says she likes to be organised, and this was one of her strengths. She was very organised, and I feel that she wants to organise you a little bit, because she says there's a lot of things that you need to do that aren't getting done. Would you understand that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, and so she's given me a long list, and she's writing it all down and handing it to you, because you need to be. You need to be on top of it, because she says you're letting things slide, and being the organised grandmother that she is, she wouldn't have liked that. She's funny. Now, and I know that, but now both of them are sort of coming forward in a more united front now, and they're both saying, we do love you, and we're so glad that you were able to talk through Gail tonight, because and they're sort of laughing about the fact how they're so competitive, and how in a way how silly it is, because both of them love you equally and wish you well. So thank you very much for calling in, Karma.
Well,
and
yes, thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate it. And the
well, find me on Facebook.
Definitely. What is the Facebook? What is it, Gail?
It's Gail Moffat, Gail, and Moffat is Moffat.
Okay, at Gmail. No, at Facebook, right? At Facebook?
And there's a site which is Spiritualist Medium and Teacher.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay.
I'm not even thinking clearly, but yes. Okay.
All right.
Well, I hope we'll connect again, and then I'll contact you, and
yes.
We could set up a reading, and very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Karma. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Right, now we have Jessica in New South Wales, Australia next. Are you there, Jessica?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm pretty much calling in to see if there's any spirits around me that has any messages.
Could you repeat that? I didn't quite hear that.
I'm wanting to know whether there's any spirits around that have any messages for me.
Any spirits around that has a message for you? Well, all people that you know will be around you. Is there anybody in particular that, as we've got such a short time, that you'd like to connect to?
I'm hoping to connect to my dad's mum. Her name's Beryl. I think about her a lot, and I haven't had much really signs from her or anything, and
So Beryl, your grandmother, which is on your dad's side. Okay, right. Yeah. Let's see. I've got a lady coming in, and she's laughing as she's coming in, and she's very she's very excited to come in and talk, and I feel she's showing me the sea and big waves coming in. Would that make sense to you where you live? Big waves?
Not really. Not really.
Because maybe I'm picking that up around you because I've got the sea. But I know that I've got this lady here, and I feel that her hair, when I look at her hair is very very it's like perfectly done, and I feel that she'd regularly have it done. Would that make sense to you?
I think yes, she did. Her hair was normally pretty perfect, and she'll have like the curls and everything. And
yes,
she's quite happy with her hair.
And I'm seeing, because I feel like it's just wavy, but very, very perfectly done, and she's quite sort of correct about her hair, and she's also talking to me about there's something to do with your father where it's to do with the relationship or the connection with your father, that there was. It's almost like there was some sort of problem with. It's like I'm trying to get this clear. It's almost as though with your father there was this strong connection with him, but then something happened where there was a difficulty. Would you understand that?
But there was a period, because I'm the only granddaughter, My mum and he did split up, and he did have another family, and pretty much he never seen me for a whole 3 years. I'm not sure how that impacted on my grandma, but I did miss her very much from it.
Yeah, because I just get that feeling that there's a sort of a separation, and I couldn't quite get what it was, but she was trying to sort of get that information across to me, and I know that and I feel that it had an impact on her as well. In seeing everybody, and I know that this really saddened her. Really saddened her. It's like she's saying, "You've no idea how upset I was over what happened," because she felt that it was difficult to keep in touch.
Yeah, we had to, after the separation, me and Mum moved away, which would have made it difficult, and the only way me and my grandma sort of kept in touch was by letters and everything, and I was really excited to get her letter, and even though she even tried calling a couple of times, and that was the only way we had connection.
But I know that she never, it's like, although it was difficult, that keeping in touch, I know that she didn't give up on you. Always wanted to sort of keep that line of communication. And she's just saying to me, I'm so sorry that this has happened, that where we didn't have that line of communication in the same way that it should have been, because it certainly really saddened her. And I know that it made her very cross with her son. Because I feel that it created a little bit of a rift between the two of them. Where the son, your father, wasn't always. It's like that he's not been respectful to her, and she's cross with him, and that it did take its toll on their relationship. Because I do feel with your grandmother, she just she feels that marriage is for life, that it should be, that there shouldn't be that split up, and she's quite sort of upset about it. I know that for a fact. Now, I know that when I look at you, that there's also, I'm being told that you're at a little bit of a crossroads yourself, and you're looking to sort of know which way to go in your life. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Because I know that you've been asking out to the spirit world for help, and asking if, and I feel that you've been asking for, spirit to say, give you guidance on how you can, construct your life moving forward, because it feels like it's sort of, it almost feels as though everything seems to have changed. It's sort of, and it's like it's not the same as it was, and you're thinking, well, I've got this sort of new way to construct my life, but how am I going to do it, and what am I going to do, and which direction am I going to go in, and all sorts of things like that. And it's in a way where you thought, it's like you're surprised. It's like you didn't expect this sort of this crossroads to come to you.
Yes, that resembles me a lot.
Yeah, and I'm being told that as you, I'm being told that it's like I'm just seeing this protection and this white light around you. And I know that this white light is very, very important, because what it is it's healing energy that's coming from the spirit world. And I know this isn't very evidential from a mediumship point of view, but I'm being given it. I'm being told it. This is important for you to know this, because you need. It's like you need healing on many levels. You need healing on emotional and it's like there's been a lot of stress as well. And it's like they're peeling back the layers of pain that you've had over the years and giving you lots of healing. And that white light is around you and it's going to be around you for some time, particularly when you're asleep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I know that your grandmother is just stepping forward now, and she's just it's like she's putting an arm around you, and she's saying, "I'm going to look after you. You know, you're my granddaughter, and I know we had a bit of a difficult time when I was alive, but I'm here now looking after you, and I'm not going to let you go now."
Yeah. And when you were saying first about the crashing waves in the sea, I just remembered my dad spread the ashes on the beach.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, it's been lovely to speak to you. I think I'm coming to the end of the show now. But, thank you for your call.